I hope you're ready. There's a whole lot of stuff that a lot of you have never seen before that is going to knock your socks off. How is it that such a small group of people can control the masses the way that they do? And the masses really don't understand the power that they have. Let's just be honest. Have you ever thought about the only reason that they need us is for labor and money? So what if we took a huge chunk of the money away? What kind of impact could we then have as the non-wealthy? Have you ever thought about the trillions of dollars that we spend, whether it's food, whether it's makeup, whether it's electrical tools, whatever it is? What if we say enough is enough as the non-elites? What if we say enough is enough and then we start to not spend our money? Just imagine how that could benefit us. There's a difference between your needs and your wants. There's so many things that we can do ourselves because we do them every day anyway. Who does the work? It's us. Who cleans the homes? It's us. Who does the office work? It's us. Who does the electrical work? It's us. Who does the plumbing? Who does the farming? It's all us. It's all the non-elites. So just imagine if we were to say, I'm not taking any more stuff off of these companies who disrespect us. Just imagine what type of change that we would force. And here's the thing, no one has ever taken over anything without there being a serious revolution, war, extreme level of change, whatever has to happen. But nobody wants to be uncomfortable. Nobody wants to save and buy their land. Nobody wants to have to put a well in, a septic system in. Most people would rather just be comfortable and be on the system. Nobody wants to live off of solar power. Nobody wants to do any of the hard things that it's going to take in order to make sure that we are taking our power back as the non-elites. You're going to have to, at some point, become the resistance. But why not start now with something that you can really control? With something as simple as, I'm not shopping there anymore. What could that do for you? Add up the amount of money that you spend at your favorite store. And then add up the amount that is necessity. And you have to decide for yourself what's a necessity. And then also add up the amount that is just because you're randomly picking things up in the store. How many of us do that? We go in the store for one thing, we leave with 13 things that we may not have necessarily even needed. We just saw it advertised right, sitting on the end cap. If you could focus enough, and I could focus enough to go and support the businesses that actually want us. But now guess what we have? The power of the internet. We have so many more options. And if we don't start demanding that when some of these companies who have been eating very good off of us, buying warehouses and hiring people, creating jobs, shipping out product from them directly, we're in some serious, deep mess. Because as we know, what happens in a 4-year term is going to go all the way into the next presidency. This is a mess. We are in a mess because we wanted to be comfortable, because we didn't want to do what was hard. Most people don't want to save. Most people don't want to invest. Most people don't want to work. Most people just want to be in credit card debt. They just want to charge everything and then end up crying and giving all of their extra money to the billionaires. Your self-sufficiency game is going to have to be on point. Look at the prices of everything in the grocery stores right now. In my household, there has been certain things that we just don't buy anymore. Not because we don't like those things, but simply because the prices of goods and services is off the chain right now. Like most people, we have a budget that we spend on. Whatever no longer can fit into that budget is just going to have to be replaced. We're just not doing it. We're not going to just buy things just because we're used to buying things. We're going to buy things that we can reasonably buy, or we can reasonably make ourselves instead of buying the pre-produced version. We have to start making changes. If we're going to survive this hyper-inflated society, we're going to have to start making some changes. And one of the things that I am dead set on is modern day boycotts. I'm not talking about boycotting for just a couple of days in January or for a couple of days in February. I'm talking about boycotting. No longer giving these people our money who don't respect the fact that we are the biggest consumers. If people don't respect your dollar, take your dollar away. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. Take your dollar away. I have been hearing several businesses that are talking about, well, you know, if you boycott this store, then it's gonna hurt us. It's gonna affect us. Are we supposed to care? The lack of unity among the people is what has us in this position right now, to where we're having to be forced to make moves. And if you're still making excuses by why we shouldn't boycott this business and boycott that business, I don't care how big they are. I don't care how small they are. If they're disrespectful and disrespecting your dollar, they have to be a part of my boycott. There are no two ways about it. I'll do without. I grow my own. There's going to come a time in your life where you just have to draw the line in the sand and say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. One thing that I know for sure, if you look at the bus boycotts of the 60s, look at those bus boycotts, and you see what they did for society. You see what they did for the community. You see what they did, or at least make our world a whole lot better than what it was. Support those businesses who think it's important for you to be a part of this society. Do not support those businesses that don't think it's important for you to be a part of this society. No one can make you go anywhere and spend your dollar. This is a choice that people are making. This is a choice that we are making to spend our money with people who don't even see us as human. I keep telling my family members, these billionaires are going to be okay. You're the one that needs to make sure that you're okay. Don't put them ahead of your family. Don't put their needs and their greed ahead of your family. Make sure that you're doing whatever you need to do in order to make sure that your family is thriving, not just surviving on a basic level. Your family deserves to thrive too, just like these greedy billionaires. So I'm sorry if there are some casualties that are out there. If you're not willing to take your business and put it on your own website so that we can support you, then I'm sorry for you. That'll give you an opportunity to actually start a warehouse, ship things from your own warehouse instead of putting them in these big box stores and big online retailers. Hire some employees. You'll be benefiting the community just by doing that. At some point, you've got to ask, haven't they made enough money off of us without putting back into the community? They're just getting for themselves, just taking. But at some point, You've got to put something back into the community. You got to support the people. And if that support looks like, hey, I got to take my stuff off of such and such website, I got to take my stuff off of such and such store. Once that contract is up, you need to be hiring some employees. You need to be buying a warehouse and hiring some employees so that we can continue to support your business. But if you're willing to not do that and just expect us to keep on going into these stores that don't want us there and that don't care about us and that don't care about our dollar, you're sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. You can hedge this. We have to deal with inflation as consumers. You have to deal with inflation too as business owners. There are a whole lot of us who are out here right now. We're boycotting these companies because we're just not going for it anymore. If you want to continue to do that, you do you, and we're going to continue to do us by boycotting these businesses that don't care about our dollar. We love your products, but we love ourselves even more. Something has to change. And we are the change. It's our money. We get to decide how we spend it, except for all these taxes. But just imagine if we shop less for things that we don't need. I'm just giving you something to think on. Just imagine that if I bought less stuff that I didn't need and you bought less stuff that you didn't need, just imagine how much power we can take back. And it's not an overnight thing. And so the whole boycott these businesses on the 27th and 28th, baby, that's not gonna help anything. Boycotts are supposed to be long term. They're not supposed to be overnight. If people continue to go on just like there's nothing happening, there's nothing wrong, they're just going to be in a really, really bad and tough situation. We've been for the last 3-4 years teaching ourselves how to survive without certain things. And the over 2 years that we spent off grid, that taught us how to survive without certain things. So just imagine if we practice a little discipline, if we get angry, really angry, and start taking our money away from these companies who don't want us and who don't want to respect us. Just imagine. I bet we will get some attention then. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.